What's up, babes? Another chapter review. 1107. Is it 1107? I think it's 1107. Yep, that's accurate. This is my only form of content now. I have officially stopped streaming after 3 years. It was a good time, but so was this chapter. This chapter, just like all the previous chapters, it seems like it always gives us the news that is the news becomes old news very quickly nowadays in One Piece. Dory and Bragi being there, it's kind of old news. We get to see Kashi and Omo, which is cool. But let's be honest, Dory and Bragi are those dudes. Those are the ones we care about truly as Giants, but it's cool to see that that whole squad is here and that they rescued them from Little Garden, which it seems, in my mind, I just assumed that Dory and Bragi got back there anyway. I just read through it, through like the hard copies of it on Little Garden, and they did talk about how they have an eternal pose to Elbaf, which has to be a fucking long distance, but for Giants, it's probably not too bad. Like, they're taking out Sea Kings clearly. Like, it's not going to be that terrible of a voyage for them. But they become old news pretty quick. They're attacking everybody. They're doing, the things that Giants do. There's a ton of warships there, though, like a ton. Like, we haven't even really seen like the entirety of that, but there's so many that the dent that they've made is just that, barely a dent compared to how much shit they actually have to get through, but we'll see what they can do. I love the throwback to Usopp saying that they're his masters, but I don't think that Dory actually was. I think it was just Bragi specifically. I just read it, and that was like his dude because they got split up on that island. Early on Grand Line is like, it's not like the peak, but it's like peak of One Piece. Like, I love that part. It's so genuine and sweet. You got like the originals there. Of course, I fuck with every new person on the crew, but there was just something so beautiful about early on Grand Line One Piece. They're all worried about what's going on with Vegapunk. I was so confused seeing all these big dudes look like they're floating through the air. I'm like, are they bouncing on these like clouds thing? But I forget that they have hover boots. Everybody has a hover boot. So Brooks getting a ship going. I don't know what Jinbei's doing, but it looks like he was either checking in with Zoro or on the way to Zoro. We get some fun panels with him. I thought I was going to focus on him, but that's not even true. It didn't even do that. Him and Lucci are talking about fighting, and then this kind of becomes its own weird thing because now I don't even know what to think about anybody, which we'll get to in a second. It could be Zoro just bluffing, having a good time, and then he's going to finish him, but we'll see. There's too many things. I hate to say Oda's written himself into a corner, but there's some ugly stuff that is going to be tough to debate. Not impossible, but tough to debate. They're taking care of the pacifistas, the threes, which are a real problem, but I think that they equated them to that battleship that took that PX3 out before anything. Like at the war, they were like, yeah, it's got the strength of a battleship, but it's on land. So those being taken out, I guess, makes sense. And that's going to be kind of the force between the ships and the pacifistas that kind of makes sense with those two. And somehow, some way, Oda did a phenomenal job and he found a way to even out the ranks. Even them out, but now it looks like the good side has the stronger force. Just from this chapter alone, I think that we're still missing a lot of pieces to that puzzle. But a lot of things that happen here got us questioning. So Luffy just punched in the last chapter Kizaru. He just punched him. He sent him flying. It's the second time that he's done that. This time it's shown to not really do too much. But it looked like Kizaru was pretty tired last time. So we'll see how he recovered. He kind of just got up. Compared to Luffy, I'm like, Luffy ate. He did his thing for like a full recovery. And he kind of mentioned it in the last chapter. But Kizaru's just kind of up and his heart's not in it. I think that's what everybody's saying. His heart's not in it. Which we do see a panel of. But I don't know how long that's going to carry. The Admirals have not had a good showing. And even I'm upset. I'm an Emperor lover. I believe Emperors have always been stronger than Admirals. And I believe that's been proven already, but like each chapter that goes by with these Admiral showings, it's just like, I'm like, you guys don't have much to argue. Like Sakazuki you can depend on, but he's a fleet admiral. We always knew that he was kind of above the rest. We kind of always knew that he was upper echelon from the get-go. But now I'm worried about how he's going to look with his showing, so we'll see. A very interesting interaction where Garcia does like stare at Luffy very intensely, and he takes a hit, but Luffy being the Nika rubber band man, he just loads up and punched him again anyway, almost seeming like that attack did nothing. which is interesting because now we're going to say a lot about Garcia. He's been taking some hits. He's been taking some hits from a lot of people. I don't think it's really is going to count for anything. He's clearly recovering. I wouldn't be surprised if he transforms again, but it seems like he's already, if he is a Logia type, he's already in his like pseudo form where he's like the half and half, and he could go the full, and that full could be the stronger version with this particular one, but it's gonna be something that we got to look at and see. Vegapunk says that if he moves, he's gonna die, which the longer time goes on, I actually don't think that he's gonna die. I don't think he's gonna die, and I think that that's gonna be them proving it to the Marines, like, hey, this dude's not gonna die. We're gonna make sure of it. I think Chopper's with Nami. That's a bit of an issue, but we'll see kind of how that progresses over time. He got left there with Sanji and Luffy, so I don't know how exactly that's going to happen. The panel of the Glint Glint man himself, Kizaru, about to flash him and Bonnie, Vegapunk and Bonnie, he looks sad. They make a panel, I think, on purpose where he looks like he doesn't want to do this. Like he doesn't want to be there, but it's his job. And he does it. And he goes through with it, but Sanji's able to kick through it, which even Kizaru is surprised. I think we were all surprised by that. And it's like, that doesn't look good for Kizaru. It doesn't look good for the Admirals. I thought the Yellow Monkey was going to be doing something, but that Yellow Monkey needs to stop monkeying around and do some shit, because not the best look. Really not the best look. So we have half those people escaping. I think people were worried about Frankie taking a hit in the last chapter, but he's totally fine. I mean, he's on the move. He doesn't seem like he's worried about it at all. He's rescuing Bonnie. The others tell his name. Atlas is rescuing Kuma, and they're getting out of there. Of course, Kuma's kind of cooked. I wish they just kind of left him there. I think that he's not leaving this island. If there's somebody who's terminated for sure at the end of this, it's Kuma, and that's going to be the end of his character arc. And I think it'd be a beautiful one. To drag him on more and more, I think, kind of ruins him to a point. I think that we get him being able to view Nika as a human one last time. He explodes, and then we just call it. But those two are squaring up. So it looks like Luffy's going to fight Garcia and Sanji's going to fight Kizaru, which does not look good, like I said many times, for the Admiral lovers. And just as you know it, Katarina appears out of nowhere and completes her mission by touching Garcia, which is huge. She can now transform into Garcia. What that means, I have no idea. But what we do know is that Teach has had this planned. And they talk about him in the most interesting part, where now the Giants are old news. And this news is like huge news, because I'm like, what exactly does that mean? They talk about Teach being special. How is he special? His lineage, which has been a thing during this arc. Lineage, the lineage factor, the Lunafistas, aka like the Mihawk and all these other warlords that were transformed into pacifistas. What is his lineage? We all assume rocks. I think that it's actually right. I think that there's not really enough to play on now where we can say he's even from somewhere else. Is it a bit of an ass pull? Yeah, I think so for sure. But it's kind of has to be something dark related, but he's had this fruit for not that long. When he turned like 30, maybe 40, he got the fruit. So it's kind of tough to tell why exactly he's so important. Is it the fruit? Not anymore. It's his lineage. So I don't know if Rocks is that powerful, and that's actually what the prize was. Not Shanks on God Valley, but it's tough to say. It's really tough to say. He could be some species we don't even know, which I think is, once again, an ass pull, but I think it's easier to say that he's probably just Rocks' kid. But he obviously knows a lot. He's been planning this from the beginning, and Augur, the sniper himself, gives that man a look, uses his coward no me, and just teleports away. Very broken. I mean, he was just beating Law's crew's ass. I still think Lafitte is there. I think Lafitte's going to be on the ship when they get there, and he's going to have accomplished his mission too. But Augur is just kind of the dude that moves people around. He is communication. He is transportation. He is everything that you need in a right hand man. It's kind of tough to tell who's important on the Blackbeard Pirates at this time, but they're clearly coming more and more to the forefront. And they're getting out of here. I mean, he hasn't mastered it yet, like he said. And then Caribou comes up, and I mean, I don't think it was any stretch. I'm not even going to say I really called it, even though I did. It was kind of easy to say that Caribou was talking about Blackbeard when he was talking about Poseidon, when he was talking about some of these other ancient weapons. He's like, I will tell that man. And he's been looking up to him since the time skip, since the end of the time skip, since the beginning of this version of One Piece. That man has kind of been working for Blackbeard, which it seems like he hasn't even met him in any capacity. And he's been with the Straw Hats through it all, which is insane. Since Fishman Island, this guy has been with them. fucking wild, the amount of shit that he's seen. And he's like, please, just get me out of here. I don't know what they're going to do with him. I think that they'd take him just because of the information. He's like, Blackbeard, we have this guy, probably a prisoner. He has some information to tell you. And then he's going to tell him. He's going to kiss his feet or something. And I think Blackbeard's going to really make a move, probably for the One Piece, but we'll see. What's truly happening there, I don't know. I think that Blackbeard's play might be the ancient weapons. I think that he's going to go after those while Shanks goes after the One Piece. But it's tough to say. It's just crazy saying some of these things because it's endgame. It's endgame. Garcia looked a bit off taking these hits, even though he's fine. He's going to be fine. There's going to be something. He is still that dude, I promise you. I just don't know what's going to happen. Just don't know what's going to happen. Kizaru took a big L this chapter. I don't know what he's about. Considering the fact that Luffy beat the shit out of Lucci, Zoro is going hand to hand with him now. And then I'm like, but if Sanji is going to go with Kizaru, does that mean Lucci's as strong as Kizaru? Like, it's too weird right now. But we're in a weird zone where the fights are just starting. It's kind of tough to make these assumptions this early on. But I'm excited to see it. The Sanji fanboys are losing it. Zoro's probably going to end that fight soon. I don't know what Jinbei's up to. I hope he's up to something. Please go do something, dude. Please. But they're about to escape. I don't know what's going to happen with the Giants. I'm excited. There's a lot happening. And that's that. No break. That's a W for us all. I'll see you guys next week and have a blessed weekend. Adios.